Let's talk about the red pill and the manosphere. It's a range of misogynistic communities that vary from anti-feminism to more explicit violent rhetoric towards women. It takes principles of evolutionary psychology that are actually helpful and has some great concepts to help men level up and be the kind of men that women are attracted to based on our evolutionary psychology, our biology, and all of that. I really recommend the book Mate by Tucker Max and Jeffrey Miller on this. It takes those concepts, but it twists them in a way to prey on shame filled men who didn't receive love or nurturing in childhood, frankly, and who therefore got involved with the most toxic of women. Um, and then, as a way of trying to make sense of their lives, they decided that all women are monstrous bitches who are out to get you. So, your best strategy is to avoid them altogether or spin plates and just fuck them, age 25 or under, the most vulnerable ones. Because women after that are useless and they're all out just to get you. So, uh, I think that it comes about also as a counterforce to the strong wave of man hating feminists and some of the unfairness in the court system, where men feel very taken advantage of by having to pay money to women they're no longer fucking, and because they're trying to make sense of how they got screwed over by women. Listen, I felt very victimized by my marriage just because my ex-husband was very avoidant emotionally, especially in bed. I felt very victimized myself, but I had to take a look at why I picked someone like that. I mean, even though he's a great dad, I'm not going to belittle my ex-husband, but I felt like a victim too. And being a victim is kind of a turnoff. And it's not true. We're not victims. We choose the people that are in our lives based on our own experience, what we think is possible, how we view the world. And you're going to get triggered how mommy or daddy treated you. So let's get into this video. And I am going to be quoting and showing you clips from two male therapists. Two male therapists. I'm going to provide you clips from their YouTube channel. This isn't just me saying it because they're also trying to help these men that are stuck in this cyclone and rabbit hole of getting more and more shame felt, more and more depressed, and they don't know how to get out. I do want to say there was someone who was emailing me a while back who watched my videos, and he told me how he used to be really part of that Manosphere community too because he was very unhappy in his first marriage. I don't remember exactly what she did, but he found his way and megged how he felt so understood in that community. And then he met this woman that he's engaged to now, and he started sharing about the dates and how the relationship was going, and they were all angry with him. They were just telling him he was just a cock and a simp. They were mad at him for finding a relationship because in order to be part of that group, you have to hate women. They don't want to see you succeed. I guess they want, they just want to stay in their victimhood. So the people that are stuck in there, they want to stay stuck in there. But remember, what draws people in, like things like Andrew Tate is saying or Jordan Peterson are saying, is you've got to have some discipline. You've got to work on your fitness. You've got to have some goals. And that's all good. But then a lot of these people take you down this rabbit hole of selling you like a false image of what it is to be a man. Anyway, so let's get into this video. Hey, you guys. Today I want to talk about the red pill and the manosphere. And this is something I really care about because I'm a mother of sons and I work with men and I like men. I have a lot of compassion for the men in the red pill as a mother and also as an older sister of a man who is somewhat red pilled himself. And it makes me really sad. Okay. I feel really, really sad because um, I know what little boys are like. I know what little boys are like. They're full of happiness and playfulness, and they have feelings, and they want to be loved, and they want to play, and they want to connect, and they want to learn, and they want to challenge themselves. And when my sons were little, I would always say, when they would get messy playing outside or dirty playing outside or something, I'd say there's a little bit of Huckleberry Finn in every boy. Like I just love that little boys. I'm also have a daughter as well, so I love little girls too. However, I think I just have a special place in my heart for little boys because I was so close to my little brother, and I saw how he suffered when my dad picked on him. You know, the way my dad never picked on me. In my videos over the years, I have tried to talk to the men in the red pill, or tried to help them, or tried to offer free coaching, or was kind to them in the comments. And I stopped doing it because, number one, it didn't work. They didn't want to hear what I had to say. And number two, they would be very mean to me. And I have to guard myself. I don't want to be exposed to people just being mean to me. However, I'm going to make a video about the red pill for people who are maybe curious about it. Um, and maybe there will be some people who can be changed by listening to this video. In this video, I will be referring to my three sources for this video are three different YouTubers that are men. I know that two of them are married with children. The other one I don't know, and I didn't save his YouTube video. Let's start with Healthy Gamer GG. I absolutely love his videos. He has been, and all these guys have been on Chris Williamson too. Okay, so I'm going to also play some of the clips. This is my very amateur way of doing this, okay? I don't have like a production thing. I do not like editing, so I just filmed these clips from my phone and I'm going to interject them as I'm talking. Why is the red pill so popular? Andrew Tate and so on. Why are they so popular? Okay, now Healthy Gamer GG says because the red pill is the only place where men feel validated. Everywhere men are told, well, you're the patriarchy. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Chris Williamson speaks about this a lot as well. So let's listen to Healthy Gamer GG's clip and then we'll be right back.
Reason why I think that the Manosphere red pill stuff is growing. And if you're a woman who dislikes this stuff or you're a man who dislikes this stuff, you all need to really understand this. The reason it's growing is it's because the only place on the internet or in our society in general where people will consistently validate men's experiences. And what does that look like? Let's understand this. So if I say, hey, it's hard to date, or I can't find a romantic partner, or women reject me, right? So I get judged for being a creep. I get judged in this way. Whatever the situation is, my life is hard. And the red pill folks kind of come along and they say, you're right. Your life is hard. That's because you're a loser. That's because you suck. That's because you're a low value male. And here's how to fix it. Whereas the rest of society says, why are you complaining? Your life isn't hard. Someone else has it worse.
Okay, now we've talked before about how men who watch the Manosphere videos, they get sucked into this emotional content that reinforces their own cognitive bias of shame that they're just not good enough. And they have the false misunderstanding, this is a cognitive bias again, that if I just was 6 feet tall and had a six-figure income and a six-pack abs or 6-inch dick, women would love me. However, if you look at the real world, less than 1% of men have all these attributes, yet we see men everywhere in relationships. And that the real problem isn't that you're not tall enough or rich enough. The problem is that you're filled with shame and you don't have confidence. And in my opinion, I'm going to add this on, that you don't like women because you hate them for not giving you the sex and the love that you want. We as women pick up that in the fact that you hate us. I've made a video before about if you want to be with women, you've got to like them. You've got to stop hating them. But what Healthy Gamer GG talks about is that this cognitive bias of the red pill increases your shame, and your shame and lack of confidence, that's what makes you unattractive. So let's watch his clip next.
By the way, if you guys just want to know, like statistically, right? So the number of men who make six figures or over 6 feet tall and have a 6-inch dick is like less than 1% of the population. And like most of the people out there are not dating that person. The problem is that this cognitive bias reinforces your beliefs that you have to be in this top 1% to get any kind of affection. Then the problem is that if you believe this about yourself, you're ashamed of yourself. Any romantic attempts you make are going to be sabotaged, not because you're not in the top 1%, but because you're ashamed of yourself to begin with, and you don't have any confidence, which is what a lot of what people find attractive. And so they end up shooting themselves in the foot.
Next, Healthy Gamer GG points out that people tune into emotional content. And since you already believe that you're not valuable enough and the manosphere really gets you, not only can they suck you into selling you a bunch of products, which probably don't work, but you're watching it and your shame goes up and your righteous anger goes up. And so you're just making your situation worse because you're getting more shame filled and more angry. And so ask yourself, am I really changing my life by watching this? How do I feel when I'm done watching this? And to actually stop watching it for a while. And actually, that's what I had to do because I was starting to believe some of that stuff too. Because they say that women are pieces of shit after 25, like no value, like no sexual market value. But Rollo Tomasi, by the way, who's the one who started all this, he's been married for 25 years. Is his woman of no value? I don't really know. I've never seen her, but the idea is to stop watching this stuff. Let's listen to the next clip.
Recommend that you sort of reduce your red pill manosphere content. So remember that all this content is designed to be emotionally engaging and sort of induce further and further amounts of shame. Now, this is not just as simple as so stop watching stuff. Well, let's walk through it a little bit, okay? So here's the main question I would encourage you to ask is when I watch this content for an hour, what do I end up feeling like and what do I end up doing at the end of 1 hour of consuming this content? Now, chances are what you'll primarily feel is like ashamed of yourself, but also really validated and a lot of like righteous anger. Yeah, things are hard. And and people don't understand and the world is going to shit and like, oh my God. That's how you're going to feel. But then the question is, do you actually get up and do something about it? Because the other problem with this content is it says that women are to blame and the world is to blame, which sort of is kind of weird because you can't fix that. So the problem with a lot of this content is that if you really pay attention to yourself, if you've been watching it for a day or a week or a month or a year, how many changes have you actually made in your life? Because what I found is that the more it induces shame, eventually maybe you'll buy a course, but I don't know that that's actually going to fix anything. But that shame will actually get in the way of you making progress in life.
Now, he did say to get off the dating apps. By the way, my experience as a woman, and I have a members only video talking about my last experience on Bumble. My experience as a woman is that the majority of men on there, 99% of the men that I match with, and they're not hunks necessarily, okay? So don't tell me that they're hunks and they have all these other options. A lot of them were just ordinary looking guys. They don't want to meet. They just like knowing they got a match, or they just want to talk on the phone, not sexting, just talking, conversation. And even when I was on Tinder looking for a hookup a couple years ago, I got no one. And I'm pretty fit. In fact, I last week I was in the top 2% at Just for Fans. So I'm pretty fit. I'm, I'm on there to meet people. So I just mentioned that because I don't want people to say, well, you're just some ugly old hag. Nobody wants you. That's not true. And I'm like a, I'm like the MILF fantasy. Okay. And I like young guys. So I'm on there looking for young guys. They don't want to meet up like they used to, like years ago. It's hard for me to get dates. It's hard for all women to get dates on there. I have a young friend who's been on some dating apps, and she finally ended up with 2 dates, and she had to ask the guys out finally because they wouldn't ask her out. So dating apps are not even that great for women. Healthy Gamer has talked about how they found in studies that 50% of the women on the dating apps are not even wanting to meet you. They're on there for other reasons. They, they want to put you down or they want to get your attention. They don't want to meet you. However, in this next clip, he's talking about how a lot of people are fed up with dating apps and people are creating these new spaces, new ways to meet in real life. And once people go to these new spaces, they're not going back to the dating apps. And I'm also in new spaces. What do we mean with new spaces? Let's check out the next clip.
Thankfully, there's like this counter swing that's going on in our society with things like meetup groups or like board game cafes. We're starting to see the emergence of third spaces. Discord is exploding in popularity. And why is that? It's because the existing stuff out there sucks. And some people have figured out that, oh crap, the internet is toxic. And even though it's hard, I have to start like engaging with people in the real world. And the problem is that once people like make that shift, they don't return to the internet.
All right, now this other YouTuber I watched said that he talks a lot about philosophy and kind of more the idea of cognitive therapy, which is that we create our own, well, yeah, our thoughts create our reality. And in philosophers such as Kant, and also I would say Carl Jung would say that we perceive the world according to what we think the world is, that we play an active role in creating our own experience, and that we can overcome our programming, which is our beliefs and our worldview. We can overcome that. And the problem with the red pill is that it paints women as these horrible satanic beings that are just out to get you. We're just out there to get you. We don't want to fuck you. We don't want to be in a relationship with you. We just want to lure you in, just the top once. We just want to lure you in and get our hands on your money and get your children, and then we want to leave you for the next guy that's got a little bit more money, and we're going to monkey branch to the next guy because we never liked you anyway. We only ever liked the alpha chat, this other guy that we could never get. And we're these devious, manipulative bitches, these devious creatures that you really want, but you really don't because we're just so evil. Something like that. Which is very different from the way that a lot of men see women. There are so many men that see women as these wonderful beings that add to their lives. So again, the world is what we make it, how we perceive reality. And the problem with the red pill is it takes people down like a very negative way of thinking. In my view, and I've watched like, I think Entrepreneurs in Cars, Rollo Tomasi, Andrew Tate, these red pillars um, didn't feel loved by their moms. Okay, I'm just going to put it out there. They didn't feel loved by their moms. Their moms were bitches. Their moms were cold bitches. So when they came across a woman, they didn't realize that this woman was a cold bitch because they'd never felt loved and valued and appreciated just for being. They've never had that embodied experience of being loved and accepted and that their opinions mattered. So they don't have the framework. So they get into relationships with wounded, toxic women, and these women will take advantage. They don't know how to pick good women. So now I'm going to segue over to Adam Lane Smith, a former marriage and family therapist, who really focuses on attachment styles. And I have ordered a couple of his books. His most recent one is Slaying Your Fear. This book doesn't apply to me, but I'm still going to keep reading it. It's for people who grapple with insecurity. Now, what I like about Adam Lane Smith's work is that he focuses on attachment. He's married, father of 5, and his work is helping people deal with their attachment issues because we have people who are securely attached and insecurely attached, and it comes from your childhood, and you can change it. Under insecurely attached, we have the anxious attached and the avoidant. I would say that most of the people on the dating apps are avoidant. They're not on there to date or meet people. But anyway, I'm going to play you a couple clips that he has about the red pill. The first clip, he talks about how the red pill targets men who believe that. Oh, I wrote my notes down wrong. It teaches men to be predators, okay, and it targets weak men, and it teaches them that women are monsters. The truth of it is, if you're looking at attachment styles, I mean, unless you're married some kind of a bitch, this is me saying it. What he says in the video is the truth of it that most divorces are not caused because women are these predatory monsters. Most divorces are caused due to emotional neglect by the husband. We know this is true. I've talked about this in my videos before too. Because women are relationship seeking creatures. We love relationships. Women are always wanting a relationship. And a lot of men are so turned off, avoidant of their emotions, like they were raised they shouldn't have emotions, that they think it's enough to just go out and make the money. They don't listen to the woman talk. They don't care how she feels. And after 10, 20, 30 years of that, the women are finally just done. That's the cause of most of the divorces. It's that the man is avoidant. So anyway, I put a lot of my own stuff in there. Let's listen to how Adam Lane Smith says it.
The red pill also takes some pickup tactics that were popular in the 90s and the early 2000s and teaches men some basic attraction strategies that especially work best on insecure women who crave approval from men with daddy issues. Again, it targets women who are weak and hurting from the very beginning. What do you call that when an animal does that in the wild? Oh, yeah, predator. At this point, though, red pill goes way off the rails and tries to claim that women evolved to be sexual livestock for men who are incapable of most mental functioning and who need to be handled accordingly. They use terms like hypergamy to say that every woman at every moment is just waiting to trade up to another man and will betray her current mate for the smallest reason. $5 to stab your husband in the throat. Yeah, I'll do it. Without any sense of loyalty or love in any way, shape, or form. The argument is that this hypergamy evolved in women so they can stab their husband in the back without warning and immediately get more resources from another man. Does this sound sociopathic? Yeah, it is. This flies in the face of the reality that the majority of marriages which fall apart are attributed to total emotional neglect on the part of the husband against both the wife and the children, usually from his unresolved avoidant attachment. And usually this takes the form of cheating, affairs, all kinds of things that he'll engage in. I saw this myself for years as a marriage and family therapist, and I even wrote a book on the phenomenon. It's right above my head there. Men who have no idea how emotional intimacy works will spend a decade or more telling a woman she's stupid for wanting emotional bonding. As her kids, together with him, get more and more emotionally damaged from their emotionally neglectful father, she blames him, and her resentment grows. But he just tells her over and over to shut up, shut up, shut up. There's no fix. Stop what you're doing. Stop complaining. When she finally files for divorce after 10, 15, 20 years, he claims he was totally blindsided. And he takes to the internet to claim he's the only real victim here and that she was totally unreasonable. She never even warned me. I told her I was willing to try after 20 years, and she said no. Like I've said, I've written a whole book on this phenomenon. You can find it on Amazon. It's called Exhausted Wives, Bewildered Husbands. It's one of the biggest reasons for divorce here in America.
All right, now in this next clip, he talks about how men who fall for the red pill didn't experience love and security. And we know from data that 2/3 of the people have attachment issues. Women bend over backwards to improve their relationships. It's women that mostly go to therapy. It's women that are buying the relationship books. It's women that are talking about relationships and how to improve them. And that the red pill is really a fear pill. So let's watch that clip now.
Men who fall for the red pill, they don't start with secure attachment style. Most of them are from families where they never learned how to give or receive love in safety. Maybe they had a single mom who didn't meet their needs, or a weak father who let an overbearing mother drive everyone into the ground. A lot of them were abused by mom as a kid, and now they try to get control over women just to feel safe. Others are just terrified of women and they don't want to be alone, but they can't get a date to save their lives because women smell their fear and avoid them. And frankly, they're in the wrong dating pool because they're dating broken women who want people who will control and hurt them. It's an ugly system. The dating pool, at least the broken one, is really ugly right now. Women are confused, men are confused, and there's an estimated 2/3 of people who have attachment issues now, according to the updated research. The answer is not to embrace attachment problems and become the aggressor. It's to solve your attachment problems and shift from that broken dating pool into the healthy one, where more loving women are looking for a husband to commit to and build a life with. The truth is that most women, even the insecure ones, are looking for love. Most of them cling to the first man they meet and they try to make it work at any cost. We know this through the sheer number of women who stay with domestic abusers or who hold on to dying marriages well past the point of hope. Women are the most likely to purchase relationship improvement courses or to seek out help to fix their relationships. They're the most likely to suggest couples therapy or to do their own therapy to be a better partner. My emails and my DMs are flooded with women begging for help to make a relationship work with men who clearly don't love them in the least. But these women are determined to keep him. And it's not because these guys are the cream of the crop. They're not billionaires with 12-pack abs. Most of them are barely functioning losers who offer a middling lifestyle at best. And these women are utterly devoted to them. The truth is that women aren't really the faithless monsters that red pill ideology simplifies all of them down to. Not any more than all men are saints, like the red pill seems to claim. The red pill is really a black pill, a fear pill, an obsession with control so that the adherents never have to do the hard work of healing their childhood pain and learning to selectively trust the right people. Now, instead of giving into this fear, fix your attachment, get secure. Learn the trust levels, the 4 levels of trust, and how to select the right people to open up with. Connect with the healthier dating pool of women who will love you unreservedly and work with you to build a life together. When you do this, you can build a life with a woman you trust and who trusts you. She will be faithful, loyal, and loving. You can be fully yourself, and you can chase your mission with a companion who acts as the wind at your back. I've experienced this sort of incredible marriage for 15 years now, and I know it's possible. And I happen to know that one of the biggest leaders in the red pill community, who wrote one of the big defining books, has been married for a long time too, even though he tells men, never get married. Women are not capable of love like men are. But he's married himself. What does that tell you? Guys?
Yeah, so in closing, I think that we have to be careful of going into an echo chamber. Sometimes echo chambers feel good. I love my echo chamber things too. Sometimes I don't want to hear the opposite view. But we have to ask ourselves, is this making my life better? Is this making me feel at peace and more alive? Is it moving my life forward? Or is this increasing my despondency, depression, anxiety, and aloneness? Is this information really true? Because the internet can tell you anything. And as Healthy Gamer said in his video, if you watch the whole thing, the algorithm kind of figures out what kind of shows you like to watch and then gives you more of that. And so you can go down this rabbit hole and feel worse and worse about yourself. The only way to really stop is to be like, is this really helping me or not? And do I want to feel sorry for myself? Do I want to feel like a victim? And I think there's a genuine time to actually be like, you know what? My mom didn't value me, and it hurts. My wife treated me badly in the divorce. She won't let me see my children. Like, that hurts. I think you have to acknowledge your pain, your anger, and your sadness. You have to feel all that and let yourself feel all that. And also to take action, that is more aligned with something positive. Like, is the world really this way, or am I just seeing this way based on my childhood and my past experiences with how I allowed myself to be treated, the type of people I surround myself with, the kind of women I'm attracted to? Why did I pick this woman? I had to take a look at myself, why I picked the husband that I picked, because I ended up divorcing him. Why did I pick someone who was emotionally unavailable? Okay. How can I make better choices now? Um, anyway, I hope that you have enjoyed um, uh, this look at the red pill. In closing, it's an echo chamber that reinforces shame for men who are insecurely attached because they were they didn't get to experience love and security growing up. That's basically it. And through therapy and different work like that, you can change your attachment style. You can learn to feel your shame and let it go, to become more confident, and to not buy into the lie that women only want you for your money or your height. So anyway, thank you so much for watching my video.